Welcome to Tell the Damn Story, the show that explores the many ways to navigate the successes and failures that aspiring and struggling writers face to make your journey that much easier.
Yeah, so here we are, August. We in August. Middle of the summer, brah.
Oh,
Middle
yeah. Oh,
of the
this is
summer,
great.
brah.
You know,
Summer, brah.
I can't
We
say
gotta
nothing,
go to
man.
the beach. All right.
Are you there? Yeah.
Alex Simmons over there. I hope over there, but he's on that one side. That's Chris Ryan over here. Man, it looks like a really weird square sun in my sunglasses. And we're here kind of celebrating, ladies and gentlemen, summer stories.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Alex,
And
what do you want to talk about here?
what we want to talk about is actually, yes, we're going to focus on summer, but we're going to talk about how seasons, a season, the seasons, properly utilized in a story can have a major impact on the tale itself. And we're also going to talk about how when a film is released in the summertime, how that can have a major impact on the industry, on the population, on the filmmakers themselves.
Back in the 50s and early 60s, it was drive-in season, right? And you'd have those places we would pack because it's a place to go for a date, and we don't even want to get into all that because it's a whole different kind of tale. Tell
By
the
the way,
damn
just
story.
for you folks who are really like super young, a drive-in theater was literally a big open area where you drove your car in, parked next to a speaker, and it was a giant movie screen in front, and you'd watch the movie projected on that from your car.
Unless you were an adolescent, then you would take a date and you'd miss the movie.
No. No. I'm not sure if
So,
age was a factor in there because I think some older folks smooched a bit too. But yes, you were saying.
but by the 70s, the summer film changed. Some would say it morphed. And that's what we're going to talk about today and how that has continued from around, I'd say, 1975 to 2026, because we are dealing with a similar fantastico entertainment this summer.
Lots of face right there. Yeah.
This is for those people, tell the damn audience viewers who have sent in their $7 for the 3D glasses, the famous 3D tell the damn story glasses.
Yeah.
So it also is a little homage to the Pee Wee Herman show. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, good old Pee Wee. So let's start with the fact that again, when you place your story in a particular season, or when you use a season as a backdrop, that can have a powerful effect. And I'm just wondering, Chris, aside from some of the names I'm going to drop, in terms of more publicized material, do we have a particular experience of our own to share where we chose a season, a specific season for the right environment for a particular story?
I mean, each of the seasons has its own built-in metaphor. Decay and fall, or death, fall weather, the wasteland or the land of the dead, the absence of all life, winter, right? The icy, cold-hearted, cruel world. That's that metaphor. And spring is always rebirth, renewal, new life. Well, summer is for funnin', baby. Summer is opportunity. Summer is hope. Even now, if we ignore 90% of what's going on in the world, it's yeah, that's what the metaphor for summer for me was always like that. It was the heat of life, the time to really be alive and do things,
Get out and do
maybe
things, see things.
have
Yeah.
adventures.
A certain amount of freedom too, because certain stories, especially if you're talking about anywhere from children to early 20s, that was usually like you had a summer break. So you had the
Yes.
summer holiday, you got off for the summer, so it was
You
like
could go
not
out at
school.
night. Remember, we go out at night.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah,
Can't
because
be
you
doing
didn't have to
that
worry
in the
about
middle
getting
of
up
the week
early the next
during
morning.
the school year.
So again, for the kids, it was summer freedom, and depending on what place you were growing up in, what environment or neighborhood or community you were growing in. It might mean the beach, it might mean the woods, it might be picnics, it might be open fire plugs on an urban street. You know, it might be any number of things. It might be going away to camp. There's all of these things. And then again, the older you became, it meant different things. Like for some of my friends, when we were in our late teens, it meant getting a summer job, either working around the community or somewhere in the city or the town that you lived in, or you became a camp counselor. So you went
Right.
away to a camp and you were in charge of smaller young folk, right? And you made that money. You made some money, and that was
Had to make
it
that
had
money,
meant
yo.
different things.
Had to make that money.
And if you were graduating from high school and going into college, and there was that break in between, depending on your financial situation, again, maybe you had a summer job, maybe it was spending as much time with old friends as possible because you were going to be in the fall going away to college, going away to another state, another country, whatever. And that was a big change.
Yes.
Those are great backdrops because life shifts dramatically for that time period. And depending on what kind of story you're telling, here's a great backdrop for you
Right.
to utilize the summertime.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about some examples.
Okay, you want to talk about some of the film releases first?
Sure, knock yourself out, bro.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of the more familiar. I won't say iconic, but yes, definitely familiar summer releases. Some of you who are into baseball might remember The Sandlot. You might remember. I know you're going to
Killing me,
1970.
Smalls.
Excuse me.
Oh, that's a great line from that movie. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's your favorite, your personal favorite, Jaws,
Oh, yes.
1975.
Well,
Yeah, which I believe you said, Chris, is considered to be the first of the major summer blockbuster
yeah,
films once Hollywood started to get into, okay, let's try and do it again, do it again, do it again.
you were talking backstage, but that Ben-Hur came out in the summer and was really big, yes, but it wasn't called a summer blockbuster.
No, it wasn't. It was called Ben-Hur.
If you want proof, that's right. If you want proof or evidence, maybe not proof, but evidence, go on to National Geographic. They released this documentary last summer, and they're re-releasing it. I just watched it last week. It was 50 years last year of Jaws, and
Wow.
there were not only the people who made the film, right, but there were many, many movie makers today, Jordan Peele, people like that, who talked about seeing it for the first time, talked about one, well, it might be a perfect film and why it influences and all that sort of stuff. So if you think you've seen Jaws a million times, go watch that on National Geographic, and then you'll be like, I want to see Jaws again.
Yeah, but let's just quickly point out, not spend a lot of time on it, but let's just quickly point out exactly how that was not only, yes, a summer
Oh,
blockbuster film, but it was a story steeped in the summertime. What were some of the
um,
elements?
well, I'll tell you, that movie had to be in the summer because the whole conflict is, well, there's a shark in the water. We got to close the beach. Can't close the beach for July weekend. You close the beach, we'll lose all our business, right? If that shark came in around that area, let's say November, they'd be like, no problem, close the beach. And the
Yep.
movie would be 3 minutes long.
Give or
They
take.
closed the beach and didn't even let the surfers in, and the shark got hungry and left before dinner.
Yeah.
That's the end of that
That's
movie.
it.
So for that movie to even exist, for that conflict to even exist, it had to be in the summer because then all the elements that happen in the summer, the warmth, people going to the beach, having many, many bodies in the water, flopping around
Mhm.
in exactly the kind of way that would attract the shark's attention, the pressure politically and economically not to close the beach, all of that. And then when it became obvious that the shark was there, the push economically and politically to get a boat out there and capture the shark, all of those pressures build because it's summertime.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a clock ticking. Very,
Yep.
very, very, very much so. Yeah. Okay. So we had the Sandlot, we had Jaws, excellent example of Jaws. We had another type of intense pressure on the populace involved in this particular film, which was called Do the Right Thing. No,
Oh yeah.
actually, Thing, but not Thing, but Do the
Oh
Right
yeah.
Thing.
Spike Lee, man.
Yep,
Back in
Spike
the
Boy.
day, I used to get all of Spike. Spike used to publish his pre-production and production notebooks and notes, and I would get them and study them because it would teach me how things happen and all that sort of stuff, and how he put his mindset together and all that. But Do the Right Thing, hottest day of the summer in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Now we
Urban
have,
city, concrete jungle, all of that. Yep.
yeah, everybody says, "Oh, it's hot. It's hot." A city hot is a different kind of hot. When you're in the buildings are so tall, the breeze can't get in. And it starts getting to be like soupy hot, and not like my brother's soupy. We're talking about you feel like you're walking through soup, that kind of hot.
Hot soup. Yeah.
And
And then you've got the pressures, the social political pressures that are
all right,
building, and the heat is
S-
aggravating that even more.
Spike
As
used the weather
yeah,
as a pressure cooker to push down on the racial pressures and racial divides that built to just a completely avoidable climax.
yeah.
If they were just saner heads, if they could just chill, if they were just cooler, right?
Yeah.
And Spike prevents that by making it the absolute hottest day.
And
And
think of the environment that half of the cast is dealing with. You're in a pizza parlor. And what's in a
big
pizza
oven,
parlor? Ovens. That's
you
not
get
helping the
you
circumstances.
go up the hot street into the pizzeria, it's a little hotter than it,
Yeah.
and that's where it kind of goes off on a really avoidable situation.
Yeah.
Raheem is like, why don't you have any black people on here? Black people are the core of your business. Why don't you have any black people on your wall of fame? Oh, these are just Italians on the wall of fame. Well, that's fucking that. Oops, that's stupid and avoidable, right?
And there
But
you go. There
yeah,
you
but
go.
and instead of saying, you know what, we have da da da, we can put. Let's start with three. You name three, and you help me. You get a name for it. Neighborhood Hall of Fame, if you want to put local guys or whatever you want to say on that, and we'll do a sec, and then boom, you turn a negative into a positive, and you get a shared interest and community.
But then
But
you'd have a shorter
nah,
movie. This is like again the shark in November, right?
yes, everybody digs in on their side, and then it
You
goes
have the
crazy.
explosion. You have the climax.
I will confess, there's a plot point in there since we are a writing instructing kind of podcast, right? We're supposed to be doing some of that.
Analyzing the
If
process.
you
Yep.
watch that movie, Spike Lee's character who delivers pizza tries to get out of it, right? Who was his girlfriend?
Oh, I don't know. Hold on
He
the
was the
name.
dancer from Rosie Perez. All he wants to do is go over there and, rub ice on Rosie Perez. Now, I can't fault him for that. Rosie's beautiful, right? Either he's just talking about how he needs to get paid more or trying to duck out on another delivery for these clowns and Radio Raheem is the guy who takes the stand. He's the one who wants the wall of fame. So it never made sense to me when they were on the street and Radio was really mad and all that stuff, but Spike Lee picked up the garbage can and threw it through the pizzeria's window. Now, all he said all through that movie was, I got a guy needs to get paid. I need to give me the. I don't think that guy who was always worried about getting paid from the pizzeria would break the pizzeria. I thought Radio Raheem would make more sense to throw that through the window, but it's a Spike Lee movie. And, Spike Lee joints do exactly what Spike Lee wants them to do. So we cut it some slack because it's Spike.
And it was Spike's playing Spike. I mean, Spike's
Spike,
character.
Spiky, Spike, Spike, Spike,
Yeah.
Spike. That's what he
But
was.
again, looking at how again the summer or the season, the environment, that particular type of weather was utilized was key, absolutely key. to the film. And I'll go one more before we move on to books and things. Here we're going to jump in my Wayback Machine a wee bit and go all the way back to a film called The Summer of 42. And again, summer vacation, high school age. I think he's like 15, the protagonist in the film. He gets to spend a summer on a little island off Long Island with his family, and he has this mad crush on this married woman, young married woman. Her husband has, and she have had a day or two of bliss there together, and then he is called away because it's, again, 1942. He's in the service and he's called off to go overseas. And so she's left there in their little summer house for the summer, and he's gone off to fight in the war. And
She
this
misses
boy
something. And
is
she's
just,
young.
yeah, she's gorgeous. It's was it Gene Simmons, I think is the
Yes.
actress.
And not the Gene Simmons from Kiss, who is
Yeah, right. No, we ain't
less
talking about, yeah,
gorgeous. Not
Mr.
we really
Tonmaster.
objectively less gorgeous.
Yes. No, but she's gorgeous. He's got this sort of romantic kind of, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And there's a whole series of coming of age moments in this backdrop with his buddies who are giving him a hard time and all this. And it's about the summer. It's about that point when you're away from your normal day-to-day existence and something special is supposed to happen in your life.
Hey
Here's your
now.
chance.
Hey, hey,
Here,
hey.
behave. Here's your chance to discover life, and things happen. I'm not going to say, if you haven't seen the movie, and considering how old the film is, that's not my
Hey.
problem.
It's
But
happening.
again, this could have been a Christmas story, but it would have been a completely different kind of story. It's again, you
Well,
brought up,
think about it. He's a young, he like 18, right? 17,
no, he's
18,
even, I think he's like 16 or 15.
16. So his sexuality is blooming, as it
Yep,
were, right?
yep.
And if it was winter and he was seeing Mrs. McGillicuddy or whatever her name was in her thick wool winter coat and hat and gloves, it most of it would have been, oh, she's got a cute face. Hi, you need help with those groceries? That's it. But it's the summer, and the missus is wearing summer clothes,
Yes,
and that's
Hermie
not
is his
what
name, and he's 15.
his name is. What?
Hermie, Hermie.
I'm sorry. I thought you said he was 15 and horny. I'm sorry.
Well, he
Hermie.
was that
Okay.
too, but that's another story.
You know, I remember being 15. I remember shit. Sorry. I remember I was like 12 or 13 and we were in Miss Sweeney's class, and all of us were so, shall we say, infatuated with Miss Sweeney, who was, she had a little salt and pepper up there, but she was quite fetching. Us guys, we volunteered to clean up a lake or something near her home. And we counted it as a huge win because she stopped by our house and changed into some kind of French cut jeans with two zippers up the top. And we were like, holy shit, she's not wearing a dress. She's not dressed like a nun.
What is that song that was so popular? Oh, it's going to come to me later, about this kid singing about so and so's mother is so gorgeous.
Jesse's mom has got it
Yeah,
going
Jesse.
on.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
well, Miss Sweeney had it going on too. And so did Mrs. So and so, who Hermie was looking at in the summer of
By the way,
42.
I'm sorry, folks, I got that wrong. It was not Gene Simmons. It was Jennifer O'Neill.
Jennifer
I
O'Neill,
got that
yes.
totally wrong. And forgive me, Jennifer. I know you'll be mad, but give me a chance to make it up to you.
But at least Jennifer O'Neill didn't get her name stolen by the bassist of Kiss. So,
Yeah, right,
you
right.
go,
It's not Gene
Jen.
Simmons.
You
It's
go.
Jennifer
Defend that
O'Neill.
name, girl. That's
Yeah.
right.
But
So,
again, you're right. It's again the summer. I think you even said it earlier when you're talking about identifying the seasons.
yeah,
Summer, there's promise in summer. What's the old song from the 50s? See you in September, see you when the summer's through. Here
that's
we
true. Yeah.
are.
I
So
was
it's
thinking,
like,
it's
it's
getting hot in here.
right.
Let's
Well,
take
there you
a
go.
whole
We're promise, folks, we are not going to start doing the top 10. But the
another
idea is,
another summer type hit. But that whole idea, the season, it's hot. It's time when people can hang out a little longer,
yep,
socialize a little
you
more.
go to the beach, you go to the pool, whatever, you're a little bit more
Maybe
undressed. So
If
you
we
see
go
more
up,
physical
uh,
forms.
up on the roof, right?
Yep, yep.
Get that
So
little
these are
breeze.
under the boardwalk.
Yes.
You know.
Anywhere where you can get a kiss, ladies and gents. Summertime is perfect for that. There we go.
So you have the summer films, the films that were set in the summertime, and that's great. And then you also have the summer blockbusters, which we mentioned, like Sandlot and Jaws and Do the Right Thing and that sort of thing. So you have
Oh,
that.
you had a longer list of
Oh
summer
yeah,
books.
if you want me to go there, I can go there right now.
I want you to
And
go
then I'm
there,
going to
man.
go. Then I'm
I
going to
dare
touch
you to go
on
there.
books and then plays. But first, here's a list of the summer blockbuster films, right? So if we start with Jaws in 1975, then we go to Star Wars in 77, Greece, the stuff that you rub on, as opposed to, the country, 78, Alien, 1979, The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, Raiders of the Lost Ark in 81, Back to the Future in 85, Batman, again, that's 1989, Terminator 2, not one, number 2, in 1991, Jurassic Park, the original, the first, 1992, and Independence Day, 1996. And then just to throw in a couple from the 2000s, we'll go Dark Knight, 2008, the Avengers movie, 2020, 2012, and Top Gun Maverick, 2022. Some
And
of the top summertime blockbuster films.
and DC and Marvel have tried to have at least one out every summer and all that sort of stuff. Now, the
Absolutely.
point is, we're making kind of a different point than setting the story in the summer.
Right.
What we're saying is release time became after 1975 more important because there's more time, so you can go to a movie and that kind of stuff, but you can also read a book in the summer. So
Yes, you
there's
can.
release time for that. In within the next 2 weeks, Soul Scream Anthology will be coming out, and it's late this year. Usually it's 4th of July weekend, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. You're
there's
right.
a lot of editing this year. So again, I'm aware of the impact in the summer for sales and that
You
kind of
even
stuff.
had
Matter
your
of fact,
Burning
Soul
Man
Scream goes
cover.
on the what's that?
You had your Burning Man cover last.
I have it again this year. I
Oh,
have to put it
good.
up again, remind people. But since the 4th of July and until Labor Day, ebooks are like $1.99 or $2.99 or something like that, which is a ridiculous savings from what I usually charge. Because summer you're looking for something to read, might as well make it affordable. So that's why
Good
I'm
man.
getting
Good
burned on
man.
those. Yeah.
Speaking of books released in the summer, okay,
Yeah.
here are actually some books that have a summer theme: Dandelion Wine, Summer Sisters, Malibu Rising, and The Summer Book. I mean, if you
Mhm.
want to talk about like really going for the
Oh,
full
sure.
effect of summer, you name
Right.
a story, The Summer Book. Now, I
And
got to read this in the summer, right?
we remember when we were in school, we would get summer reading assignments, and that's when
Yep.
you would read some of the classics. Or I remember reading The Hobbit one summer and having to read Lord of the Rings another summer.
Yep.
Um,
And then you have to turn in a report in the fall.
yep.
Yeah. So
So
so let me let me
it's
just
part of our
throw
culture.
let me just throw one more in here because again, writers and I don't know what type of writer, what genre, what medium you writers listening to the show are embracing or exploring. But we talk about books, we talk about films quite a bit. I also am a playwright. Chris has written plays, and so I thought I would just mention just a couple of plays that had summer themes. So we have A Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah, Bill wrote that one. You remember Bill, right, Chris? We used to hang
Yes,
the corner with Bill, right? Bill Shakespeare.
we used to call him Shaky.
Shaky, yeah, Shaky. That was that. The boys call him Shaky. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Mendacity. Yes, I love that one. Right. And then
Always relied on the kindness of
Strangers,
strangers.
right. And then we have two, and these are plays now, folks. We're not talking about the films. We're talking about the plays. The plays came first, right? So here we have The Music Man, right, which was a big musical before it became the film with Robert Preston and a very, 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 very young Ron Howard. before he became a big film director. Right? And then this last one, which most of you will probably remember because you've probably either seen it or seen scenes from it, Grease, the film
Yeah.
with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, both
Yeah.
of them much older than the characters they were playing. But again,
Um,
set in the summers.
yeah. Glorious and I, we usually go to a play in the summer. This year it was Death of a Salesman. I wept to it
You
was
mean with
terrible.
Nathan Lane?
Nathan Lane, Laurie Metcalf, I forget the two sons. I've seen
When did you go see this?
2 weeks ago.
My daughter and her significant went to see it last night.
Okay. Uh,
Wow.
ask her if the floor is dry yet, because I cried so much.
Great.
I tell you, I've seen a lot of different productions of
She said
that.
she cried the last half of the
Oh
play.
God. Yeah, that whole second act. Oh man, it was amazing. So again, it's something for the summer,
Yeah.
you know.
Again, the focus of the episode, folks, and you can see summer has its effect on people in different ways and the different things you can do in the summer. But also think about, again, when you're setting your story, what season does it favor, or what season would complement or support or add more drama or mood or atmosphere to your story?
Yeah. Well,
Because that's a lot. I mean, we're talking summertime here because we're in the summertime, but the winter, the fall, the spring, these are all viable backdrops for good stories. Anyway, what did you
yeah.
start to say, Chris?
Well, most people who are watching will remember it as the film Stand By Me.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen King wrote a book appropriately called Four Seasons. And the one that was set in the summer was The Body, which is
Yeah.
what that movie is based on. And that story couldn't take place if they were all in school. They needed the freedom. They needed the freedom that summer affords them. And not only is that about going to try and see a dead body, it is about that unique time when you're a kid and your friendships seem to have no bounds in the summer, you
Yeah.
know?
And again, depending on the age of your protagonist, antagonist, and where they are in that point in their lives, it can be about an adventure that takes place during the summer between school and whatever, or just this summer. But again, if they're about to leave the town or the place they grew up to go away, this is their last summer together. This
Yeah.
is the moment when their whole life in a few weeks is going to change
Oh
dramatically.
yeah.
And what do
Well,
they
you have
feel compelled?
summer camp where it's
Right.
in
What do they
a
feel
change thing.
compelled to get through or to say or to make happen in this short period of time before their world shifts
Well,
completely?
that's like there's a movie coming out now, Two Girls. It's an animated movie, and they find out that they're not going to be going to the same high school,
Mm.
so they have to make the greatest adventure. And somehow they get into this kind of evil dimension or whatever, where
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
whoever's there will eat their memories. And the whole idea is about making memories and holding on to them because we do kind of wander apart, from our childhood friendships or from our summer relationships or whatever. Once in a while you get lucky and some people stay for your life and that kind of thing. So that's good, fertile ground for writing a story.
You mentioned I'm sorry, you mentioned Stephen King's,
The Body,
but as part of a collection.
Four
Um,
Seasons, yeah.
one of my favorites is the Greentown trilogy, which is Ray Bradbury. And my favorite story out of that is Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Definitely a summer tale.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because
Because you got
the
the
circus
traveling
comes,
of,
well, it's
was
the
it
summer
traveling
into the
circus or
fall
traveling
because
fair?
it's the circus is coming in the fall. So
Okay.
but the trilogies is Dandelion, oh God, what's it? Dandelion Wine and Fair Summer. That's it. So it's the 3 seasons. It's Dandelion Wine, Fair Summer, Dandelion
Dandelion
Wine,
wine
and
is
then
the
Something
spring.
Wicked This Way Comes. So you're moving
Dandelion.
through 3 seasons.
So it's spring, summer, fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
But
you think
again,
about that,
each story is absolutely perfect for thematically and otherwise for that particular season.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it's rebirth, renew, new life, spring,
Yeah.
dandelion wine. I forgot what the story was for the summer.
Dandelion summer is, I'm sorry, let me go back here. Let me just double check that one. Because it's okay, so it's dandelion wine fair summer,
Right.
Fare rather. Right.
So you have it's in the title, bro. There you go.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then in the fall, something wicked this way comes,
yeah.
a darkness, the death, the leaves dying
Yep.
brilliantly and full, yeah, all that. So
So again, just to sort of round things off again, I would love to, because I threw this out there at the beginning. I have a story a short story that I did for you, as a matter of fact, for one of the Soul Screams
yeah,
that was set in around Christmas time.
yes,
Right.
that's
Yeah. So sometimes it's a seasonal thing, but sometimes it can also be a particular holiday. But in that case, it's both. Pardon me, folks. Because yes, it's around Christmas. That's the holiday season, but it's also in the winter.
there you
So
go, man.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Very much about the lure of the holidays. Oh, I'm sorry. The mood of the holidays, but the lure of that particular holiday season, pulling on the lure, the lore, the meth, the myth. Why am I talking in drug terms here? The lore and the myth of Christmas and the magic that's involved in that, but at the same time, what tends to happen at that time in terms of the real world. So that to me was a good environment and a good mood setter for and tone setter for that particular story.
Correct.
Do you have one?
Do I have what is it that you want? You want an
A
example or
story
you
that
want
takes place in a particular season
that I've written or that I've read?
that you've written, my good man, because you have written so much,
Hmm.
so very much. While he's thinking, folks, he is constantly calling me a legend and talking about I've written all this and written that. This man is a cornucopia of storytelling, from micro to macro to novellas to novels. This man has written it all.
What's true?
Yeah. So pull one
Um,
from pull one
well,
from the basket.
of the characters that I've brought to Soul Scream, right? One of the ones who shows up a lot is a guy named McTavish. And he was at D-Day and died very early on D-Day. And instead of his 2-minute warning, his light flashing before his eyes, he saw his wife in impending danger. And this, what he thought was an angel, appeared before him. And he said, look, you can have my soul, you can have my life if you allow me to make sure she's safe. And he became what we call a revenant. And I have put him in a summer story, oh no, a Christmas story, where he was going to stop a guy who escaped from an asylum from blowing up and slaughtering all the people who actually put him there, who abused him and bullied him as a kid and that kind of stuff. And McTavish had a chase after this guy who was dressed as Santa and really talked to him in the middle of the street, kind of almost a high noon type situation. If it was summer, everyone would be cruising up and down that block. So it had to be a cooler, colder weather, right? There's another one where he goes and he walks what it looks like he walks across the water to a kid in a rowboat who seems to be talking to somebody. And it's just a little like a fishing bob, marker in the water.
Mhm.
Long story short, the person that he killed, that guy in the rowboat, the kid, that's where he's putting it so he can come and visit her. So again, that has to be late spring, summer, where he can be on the lake. If it's fall, it gets too cold at night. If it's winter, it could be iced up. The point we're making throughout this windy and rambling episode is that it's another thing you think about, right? You think about the plot, you think about the character, you think about the five senses. How can you utilize the five senses to help create the scene? that your character's going through, but also when you're thinking of your story, thinking about season is really important. Is it the most important thing? You can be vague about it, but if it can improve the story, then it should be considered.
Exactly.
And when a story takes place, I did a Mallory and Gunner short story called 7 Days, where it opens up on a blizzard in New York City by Grand Central bus terminal. And Mallory and Gunner
Grand
are
Central
running
Bus Terminal or the Port Authority?
Port Authority bus terminal,
Yeah,
shoot
okay.
my entire face. And they're getting shot at by gangsters, and they slide around the corner, and there's Jackie Gleason, the statue of Jackie Gleason, right? And that blizzard, seeing Jackie, he's covered so he wouldn't be full of snow, and running in for the coldness of what happens in that story, the absolute cold-bloodedness that happens in that story. Opening it of them running through a blizzard, unmercifully being hunted, set the tone for the rest of the story. The rest of the story takes place in flashbacks, which are indiscriminate seasons, and in the bus garage, in those not where the businesses are, but in there. So it's like subterranean, how cold, how heartless the end of that story is going to be. But it had to be set with a strong metaphor, and that was a story choice I had to make to set the tone for it. So that's another example.
Okay. So again, seasons can be very much a character within a story as well as an excellent backdrop for your stories. And of course, as you said a moment ago, rambled on, it can also be a great time. It can be a good time, a tremendously good time to release your story. And there's actually, I don't have it in front of me, but I'll try and provide it. There's actually a seasonal calendar which states when are the best times to release certain genre of stories in the marketplace. I'll try and find a copy and make it available through a link with us. But if I don't manage to do that, then I would suggest you just, that's what we have now. We have Google, but look it up for yourself and see especially if you're about to release some book of your own, some story of your own, you want to take a look and see what's the market like at this time of year. Is this the best time to do it, or should I wait a month?
And
Just something else to consider.
sometimes you want to go with the market strength, and sometimes you want to go against it.
Exactly.
For example, people ask me, I think two, not a whole bunch. Let's not get political about it. Why do you release Soul Screams in the summer? Why not October? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of horror books get released like late September, October, Halloween, Spooktacular, but they have a lot more money behind them. So if you're an indie, you want a counter program. There are some people who want to talk about Halloween from Memorial Day on, and that's fine. Others, they like horror. They don't like horror just in October. So when's the time they're going to have the option or the possibility of having reading time? A lot of people like to read on the beach. So that's why I try and do it there.
Or vacations, whatever that vacation might be, that location might be. Okay. All right. Well, that's what we have to offer for you this episode, folks.
I hope you watched it on the beach, everybody.
The marvelous sea breeze that we're both enjoying. Oh, let me go back here.
Oh, we're doing this again?
There we go. Okay.
There we go. I'm putting all my glasses on.
Okay, so I'm just going to enjoy the rays. But thank you for joining us, Chris. As always, a pleasure to be with you. Silver, where are you? It's always a pleasure to be with you. And
some sunglasses, brother.
What do we want them to do? What do we want them to do?
Well, I want you to put on
a happy face.
Sunblock is what I want you to put on. And I want you to hydrate a lot.
Yep.
Then when you're feeling both of those, I want you to reach over. I want you to hit like. And if you haven't already, now we're 425 episodes in, and you haven't subscribed yet. I think you really need this.
Yeah.
Put a little self-reflection time on and say, what am I doing with my life? How can I live without being subscribed to Tell the Damn Story?
And believe me,
Revelation.
finding the answer to that will be a challenge. Take care, everybody.
All right, peace. We'll see you next week.
You got it. Bye-bye, everybody.